For specifics on your written assignment to Conflict in Two Voices, go ahead and go to Modules and then scroll down to Unit 4, Written Assignment to Conflict in Two Voices. Here you're going to see the specifics on how this assignment should be formatted and what its content should be. To do this, you're going to need two resources. First, our textbook in Chapter 12, and then the handout Conflict in Two Voices. So if you pull this up, you're going to see a handout that's really going to help introduce conflict management style. And as you work through this worksheet, you'll get to know your definition of conflict. So for example here, it asks, what is a metaphor for conflict? So some people see conflict as a very negative thing and some people see it as a positive thing. But for example, one student put their metaphor for conflict was like breaking a bone. When you break it, it's very painful, but after a bone heals, it's much stronger. So you see there that their perspective of conflict is, yes, it's painful in the beginning, but actually conflict is a good thing because it heals the relationship stronger than it was before. Here you're going to see a lot of different terms for conflict styles that you're going to use in the first part of your essay. So in the first part of your essay, you are going to be explaining objectively using terms that are used in your conflict, using terms that are explained in the Conflict in Two Voices handout here and Chapter 12. Perhaps the best way to illustrate this is through this sample. So if you go back to Modules and then Unit 4, you'll see this sample Conflict in Two Voices. So here it will show you a preview of this. You can also download it here. I've already downloaded it. Oh, I thought I had already downloaded it. But you can just download it quickly from here. And you'll see that this is all already in Word and correctly formatted in APA formatting. So all you need to do is replace this with your own information here. So this first part after your APA title page, of course, is for you to explain the conflict thoroughly and objectively. So here is going to be more of a professional view of explaining the conflict to me using parenthetical citations or in-text citations in APA formatting. And you can see the student did that. So I'm looking for at least two terms from the textbook and two terms from the handout. And you can see here it's outlined by using the parenthetical citations. So you'll see in the reference section below, the student was using a different textbook than we are using in our class, so you'll need to replace this with our textbook, of course. But here, this reference is for the handout, the exact one that you're using. So this is the exact formatting for that. So easy, right? So after you've explained the conflict thoroughly using the in-text citations for the terms used in the handout and our textbook, you are then going to, in your second section, identify person 1 and person 2. So this is the informal part where you're going to write as somebody would speak. So not everybody is going to use the textbook and handout terms because that's not a part of our regular vernacular and that's just not how we talk. So here you're going to identify person 1 and person 2, or you can say the name or something. Just identify two different people. And then this first person 1, let's say this is you, you're going to write exactly how you speak. So like, my sister's freaking impossible. That's, the way we talk. And then the second part, you're going to really get in the shoes of the other person now and use the way they speak, the way that they're probably, they're introspective interpretation of the conflict. So as I read these, I should feel like two very distinctive people are talking. If you go back to the rubric, which is exactly how I'm grading you, that's under written assignment, conflict in two voices. Go ahead and look. So this first part, I'm looking for the textbook terms present, handout terms, and then conflict thoroughly explained. So that's all in the first part of your essay. And then in the second part, I'm looking for person 1 and person 2 voices are really captured. And I'm looking for equal space to be given to each person. So sometimes students will do a really good job explaining their perspective in, let's say, a half of a page. And then they might only do like 6 sentences for the second person. That's not giving equal space to each person to describe the conflict. So make sure those are equal. I'm expecting this to be 2 pages minimum. So you can see in the sample, the student needed about a little more than 2 pages to thoroughly explain her conflict. That's fine. And then she did a full page of explaining it in the second part. So you can just have this be 1 page for this first part and then do a half page for each of the people. However you want to arrange it is fine, as long as the conflict is thoroughly explained in the first part here, and then in the second part you have a thorough description of what the person's probably feeling. So I'm also expecting this to be, of course, in APA format. I'm looking forward to reading these. I hope you find that this is a cathartic, healing experience.